Hi, AT from CNC at Home. Several weeks ago I attempted to make a puzzle using an airplane picture and it failed. I'll put a link to that up here at the top of the screen. I have this cardstock. It's about 2 millimeters thick. My daughter ripped it out of an old notebook here at the end of the school season and wanted to know if I could use it. I started doing some test burns on here to find out my parameters where I could cut through it consistently, and also what etching might work on the cardstock so I can get that added into my library. I also did some testing on this very glossy plastic coated paper that this particular flying magazine uses, and I was able to get several parameters where it was cutting through consistently. I'm going to use a different type of glue this time. Last time I used just a regular white school glue, and that made the cardstock cup up, and that was that was quite an issue. This time I'm going to use a different type of glue. Hopefully that won't have the same issue, and we'll try to cut the same puzzle out of that. I'm going to do one more experiment with this cardstock. I'm going to take a piece of this particular kind of paper from the magazine and glue it onto this piece of cardstock up here somewhere and try some test burns, see how it works. I may try burning from the paper side instead of the cardstock side. I'll try both ways, see which works better. Then we'll go ahead and cut this picture out. I have another piece of this and we'll try making a puzzle. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let's get going with doing some test adhesion and then some burning. We'll see how that goes. Let's take a look at this. It seems like several of these are going to fall out as we lift it up. Nice. So we have several options here for cutting that worked really well. The burn through did really nicely. There's not much discoloration on here. The back's nice and clean. This method should work really well. My slight concern is the glue that I used, I was able to peel it up relatively easily. But for a probably one-time use puzzle, it shouldn't be too bad. It's not like the kids are going to be banging on this or anything like that. So for speed's sake, we could potentially go all the way up to 150. Yeah, these aren't quite coming out, so we'll want to go at a higher power. So maybe somewhere over here, maybe 70% at 120. I want to make sure it cuts through. I don't want to have a debacle where it didn't get all the way through like last time. But this should work pretty well. Those are some good results. I have this focused a little bit low. So as you can see, the focus block doesn't fit underneath our laser. And that's because I focused to the surface and then I lowered the laser down just a little bit, and that will hopefully help cut all the way through the material. Let's do a quick frame, make sure everything's lined up. Turn the exhaust fan on and we can start the burn. Now for the moment of truth. It looks like it's cut through okay. Let's do a lift up on this and see. Yeah. Oh. All right. That was the scary part. Cut through nice and cleanly. Back's all good, nothing hanging on. I'm pretty confident that all these pieces will come apart. This isn't the end of the project. Since I did this puzzle and it turned out so nicely, I'm going to give this to a friend of mine who's a pilot in his spare time. And I want to present this a little bit nicer than just puzzle pieces. I want to make a box. So I designed up a box, and on the internet, I'll show you that here real quickly. Put it all together, found this exact image online, downloaded that, and that's going to go on the top. Let's get I'll show you what I did in Lightburn real quickly, and then we'll get the piece of material in place here and burn the box. To make the box, I go to a website called MakerCase. They do a pretty good job for what I need, at least. I'm doing a basic 6-sided box. I will do this in millimeters. I want the width to be 100, and I want the depth to be 100, and the height I'm going to do as 25 millimeters. I'll keep that as an outside dimension. I am using 3 millimeter thick MDF for this particular project. The box is closed. If I say open, it just doesn't do a top. I also want to have finger joints. This gives me more gluing surface so the box will hold together better. The finger size I can adjust all the way down to 6. I have a whole mess of fingers, probably a little too much for what I'm doing. I will just go ahead and leave this at 12 millimeter size so that it gets a nice distribution. Once your box is done, you can zoom in on it, you can zoom out, you can rotate it around, take a look at it, see what you think. And then I'm going to download this. I'm going to download this as an SVG, so I just click here and tell it where to save it. Within Lightburn, I will import that SVG file and go from there. I just go to File and say Import and select the file. Once that opens up, there'll be a few things that I'll want to change about it. You'll notice that everything is grouped together, so I'll start by ungrouping that. And this way, each of the individual pieces is on its own. And I'm going to start by taking all of the text and by holding the Shift key, get all of the text selected, and I want to put that on a construction layer. I'll put that over on T1, and we'll just not display that real quick. Select everything else, and I'm going to put that on layer 1. Just my preference. I also want to take all of this stuff and rotate it. It'll fit better here. I could also take the top and the bottom and rotate them and stick them on there. Either way. To rotate them, I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut. I'm going to press the period, and that rotates me 90 degrees. And I see that I missed some stuff in our text. Let's take care of that. So I'll undo that. And by selecting that again. There we go. What I'd like to do is get these side pieces aligned with the bottom here. So I will group those together. I can move them all as one. And then press Shift and select my top piece so that that's what it'll align to. And then I will tell it to align to the bottom. So the bottom of the top and the bottom of these side pieces will be lined up. And then I'll slide them over here. I'm just using the right arrow to move them over. Now it looks like it's close enough. Then I'll take the whole thing and I'll just put it down in the lower left-hand corner of my working area. This is basically configured and ready to send to the laser. I will want to set my burning parameters. If I go to my library, and I'm going to be doing this out of 3 millimeter MDF. I do have a cut option here. I'll go ahead and assign that to my layer. We take a look at it. We see that that's 300 millimeters per minute at 80% power, and it's doing 3 passes. That's the settings that I found work. In general, 2 passes will work just fine. I do that third pass just to be safe. I don't like it when the pieces stick in there, and then I have to go in with a knife or a little saw or something and cut things out. This is all ready to get sent to the laser. Except for one thing, I forgot. I want to put a picture on the top. As I had mentioned, I had actually found the same picture that was used for the ad on the magazine. So I'm going to import that, and then we'll resize it so that it fits in here. Okay, the picture's a bit big, so we'll need to scale that down. I'm also going to move the image to be my first layer. By doing that, I'll be able to see where the box is a little bit better. We'll just bring this down in here. That's actually looking pretty good. Make it a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger here. Oh, that positioned pretty well. I like the way this is. I can see almost the entire wingspan. The problem is it goes outside of the top. So what we'll do is we will use a feature within Lightburn to crop this image to the shape of the top. To do that, I select the image. While holding the Shift key, I will select the top of our box as my masking option. And then I right-click and I can say Apply Mask to Image. Boom. That is so slick. So now the top of my box crops the image, and so I don't have any bleed off into the right side or anywhere else. This will be kind of cool when that gets printed out. We'll need to get some settings for the image. And let's see if I've got something here. I do. So for light brown, I have an image parameter set, so I'll go ahead and assign that to my image layer. And that is 4,500 millimeters per minute at 45% power. And in this case, with no air assist. I found that MDF looks better without the air assist on. With the air assist on, it tends to give it kind of a white cast almost. That makes sense. That's usually with the fill option. I don't know about the dithering here with Jarvis on the image or not. We'll see. I may have the air assist on anyway, just to see what it looks like. So with that all set, we just need to save this and then send it to the laser. Let's do that and see how it works. I have the laser focused again just slightly below the surface of the material. Let's do a quick frame, and if we're lined up, let's go ahead and start the burn. This burn will start with the image over here, and then it'll cut out the perimeter. That step worked out well. Now to burn the rest of this. Well, at first glance it looks like it cut out nicely. Let's lift this up. The moment of truth, see if everything falls out. Oh, I like it when that happens. Cut all the way through. All we have to do now is put that box together, and hopefully all those pieces will fit in there. We have a picture of the plane on the front. This will be the bottom. These are the sides. Get that glued up. See how it looks. It looks like all the pieces of the puzzle fit into the box nicely. Got the blue tape on there to hold it together while the glue dries. Once that's done, I'll take the blue tape off and it'll all be ready for presentation. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you like the content of our channel, think about subscribing. It really helps us out. Enjoy doing your CNC at home projects.
Oops.